The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now, 865-243-TALK. That's 243-8255. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
This is Patrick Riggins with the Patrick Riggins Show. Along with Tori here, spinning the rejoin there with the lots of little lies floating around. Yeah. We should stick on the back of that Fleetwood Mac, Little Lies. You know, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Yeah, or we could go that direction or go Henry Rollins.
Yeah, probably the Henry Rollins would be better.
We're a little bit more aggressive here.
Yeah, instead of the soothing, put you to sleep music.
You be screamed at. You need to be woke up.
You do need to be woke up today.
Smacked around the head a little.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here in this country needs to be awakened. Wake up! Yes. I want to talk a little bit about Congress. I hit on this a little bit, and I just nail these guys week after week after week because this is where we need to be concentrating. We don't need to be putting all of our eggs, so to speak, in the presidential basket because to begin with, the president shouldn't have this much power anyway. That's not how it's supposed to be. Concentrating power with one person, and ideally, really, in reality, it's quite a few little people in his circle, is not good. This is why dictatorships don't work. This is why we have a Congress. And we need to start holding these guys' feet to the fire to get the power back closer to the people. Now, as I said, Congress is key to reforming the system, and we need to stop electing these people who are willing to sell out their fellow citizens at the drop of a hat. That's what politics really is, you know. To take an economic look at it, politics is a market-based structure, and this is my definition. I don't think you'll find this anywhere else on the internet. So this is Patrick Riggins' definition of politics. It's a market-based structure where we find out the price at which you will sell out your principles or your country or your soul. And I think that's what politics is. That's what it seems to be. What do I need to offer you in order to get you to vote for something with which you don't agree? Now, if it sounds like you're bargaining with the devil, you're about right. But lest we throw stones, we sit around and joke about politicians not wanting to make a decision when we sit out here and do the exact same thing. We pass term limits because we cannot be bothered with voting someone out of office. We don't want to worry with it, so the law will do it for us. We can also blame the law when someone good gets removed from office. We are too lazy, or we label it too busy, so it doesn't sound so bad. We are too lazy to go and vote on Election Day, a day you know far in advance when it's going to be. So we have to have early voting. And even then, we cannot get a decent turnout for elections. These days, we are too busy keeping up with what's going on in Hollywood or on television to be bothered with something that is affecting our country. No, just sit out there and don't worry. The government is going to provide you with everything. Now, are we really all sheep? Do we really lack good leaders in our society? We certainly don't have any leadership in Congress. And if we do get a good leader, the media, coupled with our complacency, do their best to tear them down, to impugn them, to denigrate their achievements. Whatever they have, they must have stolen, because I don't have it too. No matter they work harder than you do, you should still have the exact same outcome, even though you haven't worked for it. Isn't that right? That's what they're teaching our kids in government schools. Everyone should be equal. And if they're not, then it's because somehow someone cheated and got ahead. This is why Congress abdicated their responsibility and give essentially lawmaking authority to all these agencies in Washington. They don't want to have to answer for making hard decisions. They want to point to that agency and say, see, be mad at them. They're the one who made that decision, passed that rule or regulation, not me. I didn't say you couldn't build that. The EPA did. I didn't have anything to do with that. That isn't Congress care. It's Obamacare. Only Obama didn't pass it. Congress did. Take some responsibility. Get some backbone and do the right thing. Is it really that hard to do? There are many things in life I have to do that doesn't make me Mr. Popularity, but should I sell out my principles to get along? Well, what happens next time? The president was halfway right when he says you cannot change Washington from inside, when he says the buck doesn't stop with him. It is us that needs to make the changes. If the president is doing something extra constitutional, and for those of you who may not understand that, they're doing something that's unconstitutional, then impeach him. That is the responsibility of Congress, to look after our interest and ensure the safety of our rights, ours, the citizens of this country. Yet, we continue to sit out here and talk, but every election is the same. Same crappy domestic policy, same screwed up foreign policy, same screwed up everything. Let's start making some changes, starting now. Start reading and educating yourself. Start helping out with the libertarian or similar organizations trying to bring about change. All the information you could ever want is on the internet, and these organizations are all there as well. If you ask, they would be glad to have you start spreading the word and helping them grow. Now, I want to move on to something else just real quick, and it's a little bit of a 90-degree turn here. Well, maybe not, because it has to do with foreign policy. We've had some stories coming out of Afghanistan. I got a couple more stories on that, too, I'll hit on this show. 2 weeks ago, I was talking about how we have these foreign wars and why we're involved, and didn't get a chance to talk about a couple of things. Involved in an argument put forth about why we might be involved in Afghanistan for not purely Taliban reasons. Now, an article ran in New York Times back in the summer, and I just ran across this. It stated, in the past few years, vast deposits of untapped mineral wealth worth billions of dollars have been identified there in Afghanistan, and the Afghan government hopes these deposits of copper, oil, gold, iron ore, and critical industrial materials like lithium could provide valuable revenue for the country as international financial support begins to wind down. It is also in the process of negotiating a series of contracts with companies to develop the projects. What I find amazing is how we just now found this out. We had no clue at all that this was underneath the ground over there. I'm sure the government of Afghanistan won't kick the people off the land they have lived on for generations to get to it, right? So, if our military wasn't in the Middle East protecting all these companies' interests in all these unstable regions, then they would have to do it themselves. And why should a company pay the local people when it can convince the United States government to do it with their military for no cost to the company? Well, except for campaign contributions to the representatives who are voting to stay over there to help that country's government, so to speak. What we're really looking out for is one of this or that company's interest. And if you don't think that happens, go to Wikipedia, and this is kind of what I hit on here before. You can get on the internet, and there's a lot of stuff on the internet that's just hooey, and there's a lot of stuff on there that you can tell is not. This was on Wikipedia, and if you do a Wikipedia search on Banana Wars, here is an excerpt from that page. Perhaps the single most active military officer in the Banana Wars was U.S. Marine Corps Major General Smedley Butler, who saw action in Honduras in 1903, served in Nicaragua, enforcing American policy from 1909 to 1912. He was also awarded the Medal of Honor for his role in Veracruz in 1914, and a second Medal of Honor for bravery while crushing the Keiko resistance in Haiti in 1915. Now, in 1935, Major General Smedley Butler wrote in his famous book, War is a Racket. This is from his book. I spent 33 years and 4 months in active military service, and during that time, I spent most of my time as a high-class military muscle man for big business, for Wall Street, and the bankers. In short, I was a racketeer, a gangster for capitalism. I helped make Mexico, and especially Tampico, safe for American oil interests in 1914. I helped make Haiti and Cuba a decent place for the National City Bank boys to collect revenues in. I helped in the raping of half a dozen Central American republics for the benefit of Wall Street. I brought light to the Dominican Republic for the American sugar interest in 1916. I helped make Honduras right for the American fruit companies in 1903. In China in 1927, I helped see to it that Standard Oil went on its way unmolested. Looking back on it, I might have given Al Capone a few hints. The best he could do was operate his racket in 3 districts. I operated on 3 continents. You see, if we pulled out of these places completely, then it would be up to these companies working with local governments to ensure their protection. And local boys are notoriously corrupt. That's their culture. They don't see it as that, though. They see it as business as usual. But companies don't want that, though. They want assurance and predictability, and the American government bribing these top leaders brings that. And if some of the local boys get upset about the arrangement, we'll just call them insurgents and kill them. So in essence, our government tells these people in these other countries, keep your mouth shut, play ball, and everything will go fine. But speak up and cause trouble, and we'll be knocking at your door shortly. Anyway, I wanted to get to that real quick before the bottom of the hour break. This is Patrick Regan Show, and when we come back, we'll have a couple more things on foreign policy. Column by Andrew Napolitano, I think you'll find very interesting. And a few other things here. This is Patrick Regan with the Patrick Regan Show. We'll be right back.